$30, Mewgenics is worth it if you value tactical depth and don't mind grotesque aesthetics. Edmund McMillen spent years making his most complex game, and it shows in both good and problematic ways. Welcome back to Cobalt Black. In this review, I'm going to cover 3 things: the breeding mechanics that make or break runs, the tactical combat that rivals Into the Breach, and whether 200 hours of content justifies premium pricing for an indie game. What is Mewgenics? Mewgenics is Edmund McMillen's passion project. If you know Binding of Isaac, you know McMillen creates games with horrifying aesthetics wrapped around genuinely compelling mechanics. Mewgenics takes that formula and applies it to turn-based tactics. You breed cats, give them bizarre mutations, equip them with class-specific colors, then send them into turn-based battles where positioning and ability combos matter. The breeding loop is Mewgenics' hook. You start with basic cats and send them on adventures. They return scarred or mutated. You breed survivors to pass down abilities and traits. Some mutations help, like extra attacks. Others hurt, like cats that refuse commands. The genetics system has depth. You're not just randomizing traits, you're making calculated decisions about which bloodlines to preserve and which to sacrifice. This creates agonizing choices. Do you keep the cute kitten with bad genes or give it to an NPC for house upgrades? Do you breed for raw power or genetic diversity? The game doesn't hold your hand. You'll make mistakes, breed dead-end bloodlines, watch beloved cats die permanently. And that's the point. The game forces you to think generations ahead, which separates Mewgenics from shallow breeding sims. Combat plays like Into the Breach meets Fire Emblem. Grid-based positioning, environmental hazards, ability combinations that reward experimentation. Each of the 10 plus classes has 75 unique abilities. That's 750 plus total abilities, meaning you'll discover new combos dozens of hours in. What impressed me, the game doesn't rely on random crits or lucky draws. Positioning matters. A tank in the wrong spot dies. A mage without a line of sight wastes a turn. You need to understand each cat's role, enemy attack patterns, and environmental interactions. When you lose, it's because you lost, not because the game cheats or any weird freak thing happened. This game rewards skill mastery. The combat has genuine tactical depth. Enemies telegraph attacks, giving you one turn to adapt. Boss fights require specific strategies. Some encounters are puzzles where optimal play means 0 damage taken. Other fights are chaotic brawls where you're barely surviving. The variety kept me engaged across multiple runs. Meta progression and scope. Here's where Mewgenics justifies the $30 price tag versus a typical $15 to $20 roguelite. The advertised 200 plus hour campaign isn't exaggeration, and it has even been claimed that to 100% of the game it can take up to 500 hours. Between the breeding chains, house upgrades, NPC storylines, and class unlocks, you've got months of content. Meta progression exists but doesn't trivialize difficulty. You unlock new classes, breeding options, house facilities. These expand strategic options rather than making you overpowered. A veteran player with all the unlocks still needs skill. The game respects your mastery. One concern, the scope is overwhelming initially. The game introduces systems gradually, but by hour 20 you're managing animal husbandry, tactical compositions, house economy, NPC relationships. Some players will love that complexity, others will find it exhausting. Let's address the elephant in the room. Mewgenics is gross. Cats defecate, urinate, and hump each other. There's blood, dismemberment, body horror mutations. The game has a content warning for a reason. If that bothers you, skip this game. McMillen leans into the grotesque deliberately. It's not shock value, it's aesthetic commitment. The dark humor and surreal post-apocalyptic setting justify the gross out elements. I won't pretend this aesthetic appeals to everyone. You know within 10 minutes whether you'll tolerate it. What works? 3 standout positives. First, the tactical depth is legitimate. This isn't roguelite combat with random abilities, it's proper tactics requiring mastery. Second, the breeding creates emotional investment. You care about cats you've bred across generations. Third, the game respects your intelligence. No hand-holding, no difficulty curve padding, just complex systems trusting you to learn. 3 concerns? First, the aesthetic will alienate players. That's intentional, but it limits the audience. Second, the overwhelming scope makes early runs feel directionless. You don't know what truly matters until a few hours in. Third, at $30 this costs more than most roguelites. If you're budget focused and unsure about the aesthetic, waiting for a sale makes sense here. If you liked Into the Breach's tactical puzzle combat, you'll appreciate Mewgenics' positioning challenge. If you enjoyed Slay the Spire's synergy hunting, the ability combinations scratch that itch. However, if you bounce off Binding of Isaac's gross aesthetic or found Darkest Dungeon's management systems tedious, Mewgenics combines both those friction points. Mewgenics Mewgenics costs $30 at launch and $27 on sale. For 200 plus hours of content, that's 15 cents per hour at worst case scenario. Most roguelites cost $15 to $20 for 50 to 100 hours. Mewgenics offers double the content at 50% higher price, which mathematically checks out. My verdict? Buy if you value tactical depth and tolerate grotesque aesthetics. Breeding mechanics justify the complexity, the combat rewards mastery, and the scope provides months of engagement. This is Edmund McMillen's most ambitious project, and it delivers on that ambition. Wait for a sale if you're unsure about the aesthetic or overwhelmed by complexity. At $15 to $20 during a Steam sale, the risk feels lower for experimentation. Skip if you need clean aesthetics or prefer simple roguelites. The gross out humor and the overwhelming systems won't change. That's Mewgenics' identity. If you made it this far in the video, a like and a sub would be very much so appreciated. I'm trying to grow the channel right now and every little bit helps. And as always, remember to hit that notification bell so you catch my next uploads. Anyways guys, I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Peace out.